here today with Mabel Koff. Mabel is a senior at Bryn Mawr, a competitive swimmer, and a future Yale Bulldog. I am excited to be joined by Mabel today as we talk on episode 139 about everything that's going on in your life, Mabel, and what's happening in your world right now. So Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. You covered all of my bases.
So we were thinking that we could start our episode a little bit differently today than I usually just start asking questions, but we're going to play a little game where I've got a list of 20 questions, and Mabel and I are going to ask each other some questions on this list after drawing from the hat here of Dunkin' Donuts cup in the middle. So I'll go first, Mabel, and we'll take turns.
Take it by then.
So question number 8 is, are there any podcasts that you listen to, or do you only listen to music?
I'm definitely a listener of music. I love to listen to music when I swim. Recently, I've been trying to get into podcasts because it's been a big thing that a lot of Bryn Mawr girls are talking about. Recently, there was a convocation about podcasts and how they listen to it and how it's calming or just good for advice. So I've been trying to. I have listened to a few episodes of this podcast, I will admit, and I am a big fan, especially when they're my friends on here. So, yes, I do like podcasts, but definitely more so music. What about you?
I've been getting into audiobooks again. I go back and forth with audiobooks because I get distracted. It's hard for me unless I'm going on a long drive to listen to an audiobook, but I don't have AirPods, so I don't have earphones or anything. I just have this speaker that I used in class last year in English that I just like playing out loud.
Are you more like, is it because you don't like your earbuds, or what about earphones?
I don't know. Something about I got into my head at some point that the earpods are, I feel like when you're walking around with them in, they almost tell everyone around you, like, get away from me, I don't want to talk to you. And I feel like on campus and at school, like, if I was wearing those things all the time, people would think he's not really here, I just don't, I personally don't think they should be allowed on campus. Because, I don't know, it tells people I'm not really in the mood to talk to you, I feel like.
Yeah.
I just like the sound quality of music playing out loud, too, more so. But there are times I definitely am like, I wish I had my ear pods again when I go for a run or something.
I was going to ask about the running, definitely. Because you always played the music out loud when we had class last year, for sure.
So when you say you listen to music when you swim, how does that work?
Yeah, so I think everybody does their, like, pre like, workouts or whatever. For meets, it's like a pre-meet ritual. So before a race, I like to listen to specific music. For me, it's Moves Like Jagger. I love that song. I swim to music, so I just like have a song playing in my head when I swim.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's a little like funny quirk that I do. I love like listening to music right before I swim, and then as I'm swimming, I like to have a song playing in my head, and sometimes I'll like swim to the beat or something like that.
So does that just help you mentally, I guess, stay focused on or just be in the moment, maybe?
I mean, sometimes definitely, like if it's a longer race, it just like gives you motivation to keep going. So yeah, it's something to help me stay in the moment. It's also just something that's fun for me to focus on. I don't know. I found that it helps me.
That's awesome. Yeah, I need to get into swimming, but I know you guys have the pool booked. It's very hard to get in that pool with Bryn Mawr swimming there in Gilman and morning practices.
It's a coveted space for sure. Yeah, definitely. Especially with like water polo, I know last year and everything, it gets booked quick. Definitely.
So let's go to the second drawing.
All right, I'll pick it this time. Okay. I got number 18.
All right.
I think that's towards the end. So what's your most prized possession and why?
Most prized possession.
That's a tough one.
I will say that that speaker, I do use it every single day.
Yeah.
And it was only like $150, and I've used it for the past 5 years every single day in class, when I'm working out, when I'm doing my own work, I play music through it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't even know what it's called, but the little jam box that I carry around, it's really easy to travel with. It's probably my most prized possession. It's just, I use it so often. What about you?
My most prized possession. I think that it'd have to be this thing that I have up on my wall that my grandma gave me when I was younger. It's kind of like a dream catcher, but it's metal, and I just use it to sleep because I don't know. I used to have problems sleeping, and so I've always had it hanging above my bed. I really like it. It's just the first thing that comes to my mind too, and it reminds me of my family. So I really like that. Yeah.
I like that you this question is, really meaningful to you. Mine is just practical. It's like, what do I use a lot? But yeah, it's interesting. Prized possession. Can't really think of too many other things for me.
Yeah, I don't know. I think of like people more than like material things, I guess, like that I value, definitely.
I'm a big collector of books as an English teacher. That's one thing. When I have money that I can spend, I just buy a book, and I have way too many books at my house. So those are some of my prized possessions, and maybe I don't need so many of them, but it's nice to have a collection of books that you have a full bookshelf.
Definitely. I gotta relate. I have a bookshelf in my room, and it's like a huge stack of books that I plan to finish over the summer. We'll see if I get to them, but I've been planning to get through them, so hopefully I'll read them soon.
All right, next question. Let's see. This is 13. Do you have any pet peeves, things that bother you?
Yeah, my brother can attest to that one. Yeah, I definitely have pet peeves. I think when people interrupt me, I don't like that. That's my dad. He usually interrupts me. I guess in the pool, when somebody like sprints warm up, that's just a big pet peeve that I have with my friends. I don't know. I think those are the two biggest ones. What about you?
My biggest pet peeve, I think, is when people condescend to you or people speak down to you. Yeah. That's always really bothered me. But there are so many little things that bother me sometimes. But that's probably the one that actually makes me really mad, is people speaking down to me.
Yeah, definitely.
I just don't really like that. Yeah, that's a good question, though, the pet peeve one.
Yeah, I feel like that's just like a daily thing that you're like, oh, that's annoying. But you don't really think about all the time, for sure.
All right, next one.
All right, you want me to do this? Okay. Got 17. What's the phone app you use the most?
Phone app I use the most is, well, I do like Twitter. That's like my social media fix is Twitter. And I don't really like Instagram, or I don't have Snapchat or TikTok. So Twitter is kind of the social media that I like reading the news from Twitter. Been using my camera lately, which is good.
That's good.
I think it's good to take photos. Other than that, maps is essential. I need it when I'm going different places. Definitely. I need maps.
Yeah, I guess. I think for me, it's definitely Snapchat. I gotta say, yeah, Snapchat. I did try to delete TikTok for a week, and that went well. That saved me a lot of time, especially when I had a lot of homework. But Snapchat is the one I use the most, I think.
Do you get rid of TikTok at all in season? Does that help you with time? Because I know it's busy for you right now.
I've been trying to. Right now, I still have it downloaded, but I'm going to try and delete it, I think. That's going to be one of my New Year's resolutions coming up. I have a few of them, and I'm going to try and delete TikTok, see how long I can last. Because I don't actually think I need to be on TikTok that much. It's just something I like to do to scroll, and it wastes time. So I'm going to see how long I can go without it.
Is there something about TikTok, though? I mean, is it a total waste of time, or is there something, like, why do people love it so much?
I don't know. I think for me, it's definitely tailored to what I like because it's my For You page. I think it can definitely depend on each person. I like it because, like, if I am in the mood to, especially now with like Christmas coming up, I want to buy a lot of presents for my family and my friends, and we have White Elephant or Secret Santa coming up. So I like looking at what people are getting on TikTok, so then I get ideas for what I want to get for other people, and that's my most recent use for the app, for sure.
One of the things I know about TikTok is that it's funny. People
Yeah.
are so creative and interesting and weird,
Yeah.
right, on TikTok that I understand why it's so entertaining for people to spend all day on there.
Definitely, definitely. I could definitely scroll. That's why I think the influencers get so much following because they're relatable and funny, which
Yeah.
is a big part of it.
Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah, it's unlike Instagram where everyone's trying to be super. I mean, I'm sure there's that element to
Yeah.
TikTok where everyone's trying to be perfect and appear perfect, right? But
Hmm.
there's also the funny side of people dancing and doing absurd
Yeah.
things and saying things, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I definitely think so.
Would you say Snapchat is the way
Hmm.
people communicate, like friends communicate mostly in high school?
Uh, yeah, Snapchat or text, I think, for sure.
Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah.
A bunch of my group chats are over Snapchat, so yeah, it makes sense.
All right, let's go to the next question. That was a good one. Was it me or
I
you?
think it's you,
It's
yeah.
me. Okay. This is question number 12. It is, what's one thing that can instantly make your day better?
Ooh, my friends. I gotta say that. My friends definitely make my day better. Um, like whether like if I'm doing homework or something and I am stuck on a problem and I just need a break, I'll call like a friend of mine, and that makes it a lot easier to go back to the problem or just like make it so I like doing my work or something like that. But definitely my friends makes it a lot better. What about you?
Hmm. I think exercise for me
Mm,
because, if I'm stressed out or something's going off in my
yeah,
life or whatever it is, exercise, even if I'm having a good day, exercise makes it even better.
better.
Whether that's even a walk, like a 30-minute walk,
Yeah.
come back, you can do whatever it is you were doing, just refreshed, feeling better,
Hmm.
all of those things. So exercise for me. Trying to think what else.
I mean, last year you said you went to hot yoga or something like that. So I always remember you talking about exercise. Um, but I think I've been recently going to the gym because I swim a lot. We don't lift as much, and I like that. That's fun. That's good too. But I prefer swimming for
Yeah.
my exercise. I think it depends what exercise for me. Is it any for you?
Anything. Yoga, um,
Yeah.
lifting weights, walking, running. What's it been like going to the gym?
It's good. I go with a friend of mine who lifts pretty regularly, and I've been trying to get into it. That's my second New Year's resolution, is to go to the gym more and lift, in addition to my like in pool training schedule.
How does lifting weights like
Yeah.
translate to swimming?
Yeah, I think it just makes you stronger all around. Because swimming can train like endurance, sprint. It just depends on what you swim. I think lifting just makes your muscles stronger and bigger. And also, if you're more sore, more tired, and then you go into a training set, you get more out of it, more
Yeah.
endurance, more everything.
Are there any resistance training? Because I know how important
Yeah.
resistance is in the water.
Yeah, so we do that very scarcely, I think, but I've done resistance training sets, so that's like with a parachute, or band work or something like that. And that's a fun set, but it's definitely for sprinters, I would say.
Got it.
Um, I'm more of a mid-distance swimmer. Yeah.
Gotcha. So what is your like typical
Yeah, my typical events.
events? Yeah.
I swim 200 and 100 backstroke, and I sometimes swim 200 IM or 200 free.
Gotcha. Okay, so 200 is up, back, up, back.
No, so that's 100.
That's 100.
So in short course, a 200 is 8 laps.
Okay.
So there and back 4 times. And then in long course, it's 4 laps. So there and back, there and back.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Do you do any, how do you train for oxygen and breathing and that sort of thing in
Yeah.
swimming?
Yeah, so that's actually definitely been something I've been working on recently. Um, I use a nose clip when I swim backstroke, just because for some reason when I swim back, my head tilts towards my chest, and so it might be because I like get water up my nose all the time. So I started using a nose clip because my friend suggested it, and my coach said it would be a good idea, and I just loved it. It helps me, I think, retain oxygen and just get more kicks off the wall. Um, Last night we had like a big aerobic like set, and then right after we had training underwater. So just like lots of repetition and practice of just holding your breath and knowing what that feels like. Definitely.
Yeah, my biggest thing is breathing. I never
Yeah.
had formal. I probably did a long time ago formal swim lessons, but I feel
Yeah.
like I don't know. I don't know if uncoordinated is the right word, but in the water when I'm trying to breathe, I feel like I'm not doing it right.
Yeah. It's. I think that's probably why I like backstroke the most because I get the most air out of all the strokes. Definitely. Yeah, that's just how I swim it.
All right, let's go to the next one. What are you thinking about this? We've never done this before.
I like it. I think it's a good one, especially like with the holiday season up. Like I'm expecting some of these ones to come up. Number 16.
16.
Getting all the teens. Ideally, how would you spend your birthday?
Ooh, I just had a birthday. Well, I really like my birthday because it's right around Thanksgiving. So I'm never working on my birthday, or I was never in school on my birthday, and I'm always home with my family.
That's fun.
And my dad's birthday is a couple days before me, so we're kind of just all hanging out.
Yeah.
And we've got Thanksgiving there, and it's a nice little break. So I've had some good birthdays because they're just all at home.
Yeah.
When's your birthday?
It's March.
March.
Yeah, so I'm early March. I don't know. I think I would want to see like a movie with like my friends, I think, or want to see a movie with my friends, and I want to have dinner with my family. Um, yeah, I don't know. Nothing special. I like having like a normal day as a birthday. I
Yeah.
don't like making it a huge deal.
Yeah,
That
not a
would be
big
my
party, not a surprise.
No, I think I would just like want a normal day.
Yeah.
That's what I want for my birthday.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
Would you want dinner at home with your family, or would you want to go out somewhere?
I think I would want to go out to my favorite restaurant. I love Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Yeah.
It's my favorite Baltimore restaurant. If anybody's looking for a new restaurant, I recommend it. I always get their fries with ranch. It's a weird quirk, but I like their fries with ranch and the Lorenzo salad. That's my order definitely at Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Cool. Good spot.
Yeah.
All right. Am I up or you up?
I think it's you.
It's me again. Okay, this is number 3. Best vacation you ever took and why?
Okay. I think the best vacation I ever took was to San Francisco. And that was because I got really into like all the places we visited. I loved. We went to Muir Woods, which is this huge forest of trees, and I went with my brother and I loved it. I really liked I like Chinatown in San Francisco. And we went to Alcatraz. I thought it was so cool.
Wow. What was that? So you take a boat over, right?
Yeah. So you take a boat. We ended up getting like a headset, and it like took you around the prison and told us like the stories of the prisoners. I thought it was so interesting because I'd never seen anything like it. It was also just like a really cool trip. We went to Ghirardelli, like got the sundaes. Had like these famous bread bowls, and biked across San Francisco Bridge. So that was a really memorable trip and one of my favorite because it was with my family. It was really fun.
When'd you go? How long ago?
Oh, geez. I think it was in middle school, maybe 6th grade.
Yeah.
Something like that, pretty young. But we really only travel in August, actually. because with swim season, you can't travel during Christmas or spring break. So we only travel in August, and I haven't really been traveling that much. So I would say that's the one I loved.
We were supposed to go. My lacrosse team in college were supposed to go play out in San Francisco,
Oh
but
yeah.
it was like right when the wildfires were going on, so we had to cancel it. But we were going to go to Ghirardelli
Yeah.
and Alcatraz and all these places too.
Yeah, we went to San Francisco and Yosemite. That's why I mentioned Muir Woods, and we were actually hiking, and we had to come down really fast because a wildfire started towards the bottom of the trail, and so it's definitely a big issue. Like we saw that definitely up front
Yeah,
for
it's
sure.
scary out there.
Yeah. What about you? Did you have a favorite vacation?
Favorite vacation I've ever been on? I've been lucky because
Lucky, yeah.
working at Gilman, I've been able to go to some really cool places through grants and through summer trips. My first year as a teacher here, they were looking for someone to go to Peru and
Oh,
go to Machu Picchu
that's
and
cool.
take like 10 or 11 boys over there. And I was just, I was the third chaperone because I was new.
Yeah.
And two other people had organized the trip, and I raised my hand because why not?
Yeah,
You know?
definitely. That sounds so fun. There's been my advisor is the leader of the exchange program at Bryn Mawr, and it sounds really, really fun. I wish if I wasn't a swimmer and if I wasn't in practice every day, I would be definitely setting myself up for one of those trips.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, I got to go to Paris not too long ago too, and I just loved
Me
going
too.
to Paris.
Yeah, I went to Paris last summer actually. Yeah.
Liked it?
It was good. Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah.
It was really nice.
It's a
for
cool
sure.
city.
Definitely.
And it's fun to walk around. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
big city, but I think pretty much everything that you want to get to is in walking distance. I went on some long walks, but
Yeah, there's some long walks there for sure.
but
We biked around a little bit. It's a really fun city.
yeah,
I liked it a lot. All right, I think I'm next.
you're next.
Okay. I got number 19.
All right. Essential part of your daily routine. Essential part of my daily routine. Coffee.
Coffee.
Yeah, it's just in my daily routine. Either Keurig or Starbucks, which, Starbucks is expensive and I go there a lot, but it's so convenient and the coffee is usually pretty good.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not, but usually it's tastier than the Keurig for me. So coffee is my
That's like my mom. She loves her coffee. She's got to have her Starbucks coffee. That's it for her. Yep. I think an essential part of my daily routine is swimming. I swim every day, so I think I gotta say that one. Definitely.
Do you swim? Do you ever take a break? Do you ever take, like a couple weeks
Yeah.
off of swimming?
We have 2 weeks off in August. That's when we get to travel. We have 3 days off coming up in Christmas time, though. So I'm excited to see family and my friends then, for sure.
So one of the questions I was going to ask you, and this is, maybe we're moving into
Yeah.
just the questions
Sure.
about your life a little bit. But I was wondering about like the mental side of swimming
Yeah.
and the commitment that it takes to be a really good swimmer.
Yeah.
And maybe this is a separate question, but like when people see Mabel Koff, star swimmer, Yale University,
Yeah.
like what don't they see about the sacrifices and the commitment that it takes to be really good at swimming?
I don't know. I was actually kind of thinking about this, when we decided we were going to do a podcast, like I was going to do the episode. I decided to think about like when I started swimming. So I actually started swimming because a friend of mine was a swimmer. She was my best friend in kindergarten, and she ended up swimming because her older brother was swimming. So I just hopped on the bandwagon. I just said, I'd like to join too. And she ended up switching to my current team, NBAC, which is a lot more commitment than my previous one in kindergarten. And when I tried out, I knew it was going to be a bigger commitment. I knew I didn't necessarily know like it would become like what it is now. But I remember my dad telling me when I decided I wanted to go, he was like, if you make a commitment, you got to stick to it. And so I think that's just been something that I've really kept in mind in swimming because it's all about, like, even though if I don't necessarily want to go to a practice every day, I still do. It's all about my consistency. And I think, like, the mental side behind that is just I really like it at the core of it. Like,
Hmm.
I used to swim and I didn't like doing the meets because I didn't like the competition, but I still loved to swim. So I would go to the practices every day and I wouldn't go to the competition. And when I switched to my team, I asked my coach if I couldn't do the competition, if I could just do the practices. And he said that's like studying for a test but never taking it.
Hmm.
So you have to actually take it. And so when I was younger, I was put into summer swim so that I joined Meadowbrook Tomatoes. And I was also in my club team. So I did a bunch of competitions to kind of build my love for the sport and get involved in competition. And I would definitely say at first, I really didn't like competing. I wasn't like very competitive, but I was really grown into it. I think that's been a huge thing mentally for me is like learning to race and not just swim.
Hmm.
Um,
So how'd you
yeah,
learn how to do that? I mean, if that wasn't what was keeping
yeah,
you in, was the competitive side of it or racing, like how did you become into that
yeah.
or start to like to race?
I think it had to do with like the coaches and my environment because once I was put into a new team, everybody loved to race, and it was just a huge culture thing. My coaches were so helpful in putting me into new situations, and my parents were helpful in encouraging me. And then my friends also wanted to race. Like, it was a healthy competition between us. Um, and they made me want to get better because I had goals. Like, I wanted to get to the next swim group. I wanted to swim. I had friends who were in the higher group than me, and I didn't start out like in the highest group at all. And so I wanted to start swimming with them again. I wanted to join their group, so I started swimming faster. And then I started just to have more goals. So it was like a gradual thing, but I would definitely say it's like my team culture and like the environment I was put in.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
hear that. Well, I think it's so important to love the sport, especially when you're
definitely.
doing it in college because you could be really good at a sport and
Yeah,
be really talented and invest all this time growing up into it. But I think when you go to college, it's just so much of your life and there are other
yeah,
things going on. And if you don't love the sport itself, it's very easy to be like, why would I invest all this time into
definitely.
something?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think I have to love it for how much time and effort I put into it. I don't know. I'm very excited to see where my swimming goes in college. I think it'll be new. It's something I've never experienced. I've been swimming on the same team since kindergarten, so there's definitely pros and cons to that. Like, I've known these kids for years. I've grown up with them. It's very comfortable and familiar. Um, but I think that being in a new environment is gonna change it. I'm really excited for it.
what are you most excited about next year? Can't believe
I know.
high school's almost over. Uh, what are you most excited about in college outside of swimming?
Yeah, I think that the reason that I chose Yale is because it had that uh, had that life outside of swimming. I'm really excited to meet the people there. That's what I'm most excited for because the people in my class have been amazing. I'm so excited to meet more of them. Um, like when I visited, it was the people that really drove my decision because they were just so outstanding, so welcoming. Um, and I think like everybody was just so interesting. They had something to say, something interesting to contribute. I,
Hmm.
I think that I'm so excited for just a change in atmosphere. Um, Not to say that I'm not gonna miss everybody here and like the place like I've grown up in, but I'm excited to experience something new and
Yeah.
different.
Yeah, it's so cool when you get there, people from all over the world and
Yeah,
different places and different upbringings and totally different backgrounds and different sports.
yeah,
It's cool to be sitting next to them at dinner or,
definitely.
you know, uh, walking through the courtyard or
Yeah,
wherever to your next class with them. It's you really broaden your perspective, I think, through conversation with people and getting to know
yeah.
some different people.
Like
So,
yeah, when I was so I actually spent a night in the dorms And my host was kind enough to show me around, and I was able to meet a bunch of different people who were living on her floor in her suite. And they were just from all over. They had a bunch of different interests, and they talked to me about what they like to do and where they were from. There was somebody from Australia. Like, it was very diverse, very broad, and I loved it. I thought it was so interesting. Some of them were athletes, some of them were involved in a cappella. It was so cool to see them, and they were all telling me about Yale and telling me how interesting it was. It was really exciting to hear about, definitely.
Do you your freshman year, I think you live with random people, right?
Yeah.
Not just swimmers.
Yeah, so you all live in this one area, and from my understanding, you fill out a form, and they've kind of explained it to me like it's like the Hogwarts sorting hat almost, where you just fill out things that you prefer and things that you like, and they try and match you with somebody with like-minded interests. So I'm hesitant, but I'm really nervous
Yeah.
to see who I'm getting paired with.
I remember
I'm excited.
I remember the summer before I went to school, I got my roommates, and
Yeah.
it was random, and I was looking at them on Facebook, because I guess Facebook,
Oh, right.
when I was in
Facebook
high
was
school, was
Instagram.
the TikTok,
Yep.
you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh, these people look so strange. I don't know if I'm going to be able to live with them.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I get there, and they're awesome. And, still some of the best people I know were my freshman year roommates and
good.
people I lived with freshman year. So
I've
can't
heard-
really judge from social media.
I'm hoping. I've heard both paths, because I have a lot of friends who are in college right now as juniors, sophomores, and freshmen. And I've heard both sides. I've heard some that have been like, I love my freshman year roommates. They're so cool. And I've had some that have been like, they're not my favorite.
Yeah.
We didn't really hit it off. So I'm hoping, I'm going to go in with an optimistic mindset for sure, hoping we click, but we will see.
So let me ask you another question. Bryn Mawr,
Mm-hmm.
senior year, looking back on your experience,
Yeah.
how do you think you've changed from your freshman year to your senior year?
Yeah, freshman year, we were in COVID. I mean, that's the
Oh.
first thing that sticks out to me. We were in, we called it awesome spaces. So they set up desks in our gym for the freshmen, and we were there. That's where our desk was, and then we went to class, and we had a plastic screen between us all. And some days I was virtual. So it was really a weird year for us. I'd say it was odd because there's a lot of parallels, actually, I think, because as a class, we were all in the gym. So everybody played basketball together during our downtime, or we all did stuff. And that's very similar to now, because we have our senior room and we're all together, or there's a Jenga, or we're all talking or doing something, or have a whiteboard. So I see a lot of parallels, but obviously definitely has changed a lot. I think just like maturity comes with age.
Yep.
I think the saying is definitely true. I've seen it just the way I approach schoolwork, the way I approach relationships. I think I've matured a lot from freshman year to senior year.
Wow, that's crazy. I forgot that you're still in high school during COVID.
Yeah.
Was this I guess this was the, what did we call it? The split classroom. So half
Yeah.
COVID, half virtual, half in person.
Yeah, we had that like hiatus in 8th grade, and then when we came back, it was this like split
Hybrid learning.
hybrid learning. We had that, and it was definitely different. I actually found that I liked learning virtually. It was fun. The thing that I missed most was my teachers in person reactions, and they were able to, I think, convey things and material better. And then my friends, obviously, I miss them a lot. It was tough. And we were off swim athletics and swimming for a really long time.
Yeah, what'd you do during, as a swimmer during COVID?
It was tough. I actually didn't swim, so we had workouts of the day. So every day my coach would text us something to do. I hate running. I really just don't like it. But one day I went to the Gilman track. I live really, really close. And I did a 5K. and I think I was sore for 4 days afterwards. So I tried definitely a bunch of different things. We did like a yoga hour session that my coach sent. But it was weird. It was really tough coming back too after COVID because we'd been out for so long. And even with coming back, it was so weird in the pool. We had to social distance in the pool.
Yeah.
So we like would have people stop at the flags and then have people at the wall. And then they would go, you would come in and swim. It was a really weird dynamic. It
Oh
was
my
weird.
gosh. Yeah, that's craziness. Okay, well, the last part, unless we want to do one more
Sure, yeah.
round, is maybe we'll do one more round of
Yeah.
questions here, and then we'll do the book recommendations at the end.
Okay. Do you want me to pick? I got it. Okay, we got number 9. Do you have a favorite holiday? Why or why not? I've been looking at this question. I hope I pick it.
Favorite holiday for me is, I do like Memorial Day, but I also really like Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving, just around my birthday, home with the family, as I already said. Memorial Day is cool because I have family in the military. It's cool to celebrate that, and it's also the lacrosse championship weekend, which has always been special in my family because I've been going to the Final Four to watch with my dad since I was a little kid. So it's always on TV, and the last Memorial Day was my sister's wedding, so it was cool to have all of that, like
fun.
family, wedding, lacrosse combination.
Yeah, I really like that. So did you go watch the lacrosse game this past, I think, or Memorial Day or whatever?
Watched it on TV and then went to the wedding right after.
Gotta have them both for sure. I think my favorite holiday is Christmas. I love this season. I think it's so fun. I get to see a lot of people, which I really like. Yeah, I love Christmas. I think it's so fun.
Do you decorate?
We do. Last year, unfortunately, we didn't get a tree until Christmas Eve, though. So I'm hoping we get it sooner. We also have, when I was younger, we did the holiday meet, candy cane meet, where we would swim fun events, and then we would get candy canes after we raced. So it's always fun swimming. I love it. I think it's so fun. I live on a dead end, so we not only buy like a Christmas tree for my house, but a smaller tree for the cul-de-sac, and my brother and I decorate that. And then people around my neighborhood host holiday parties, so it's always a really fun time, really festive.
Awesome.
I like it. Yeah.
Cool. All right, book recommendation.
Book recommendation.
What do you have for us?
All right, so I think my book recommendation is The Nightingale by Kristen Hannon, and should I give us a summary?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's set in World War II. It follows 2 sisters, and I really like it because it tells a story of how you overcome tragedy, really, and what you do in the face of war. I love it. I read it in like a weekend, but I'm also somebody who really likes. I really like devastatingly beautiful books because they're so interesting to read, and I really like them, and I can really get into them. So I love that book. I would recommend.
Awesome. And then you had another one too, right?
Yeah, I had To Kill a Mockingbird. I love To Kill a Mockingbird. I think I really like it because it's one of my dad's favorite books. But recently in my English class, we were talking about like the Great American Novel from your class because we read a bunch of American novels in 11th grade lit. And I think I'd have to say To Kill a Mockingbird is one of the great American novels because we were talking about The Great Gatsby. I think we were talking about Beloved, and we were identifying a lot of like systems or like categories that made the great American novel. And I think they were talking about like social class, race. It has to be an accessible book. It has to be well known. And I think that, or even like a love story in there. I think that To Kill a Mockingbird checked off so many boxes for me, and I also really enjoyed it. And I read it when I was younger, and I think it's pretty well known, but I still think I should shout it out because I really like that book. It's been one of my favorites in my bookshelf.
I'm glad that you brought both of those books. The first, The Nightingale, is one that I want to read really badly. You say you read it in a weekend, but it's honestly intimidating to me because it's a pretty big book.
It's pretty hefty, but I love it. I thought it was really well done. I really like World War II novels. I think they're really interesting. I think it's really fascinating, like stories. My dad has recently given me All the Light We Cannot See. It's in my stack of books to read, if you've heard of it.
And it's a movie now too, I think.
I know. I want to read it before I see the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's one of my things. I just got to read it before I see the movie. I don't want it to ruin it. But he's told me a lot about it, and that's definitely on the list for me. Because I loved The Book Thief too. I thought that was such a good book along the same lines of World War II novels.
Awesome stuff. And then the other one, To Kill a Mockingbird, is one I'm embarrassed to say that I only last read, I think, in 8th grade, and I don't.
Yeah.
I remember it, but I don't think I was equipped enough to understand and read it in 8th grade, and I think it should be a part of my 11th grade American Lit class, but they teach it in 9th grade, I believe, here.
Oh, really? Yeah, we read it in 7th grade. I want to reread it again. I've recently reread it, but I want to reread it again because I just think it's so well done. I like it a lot. I think I haven't seen the movie, actually. I think that should be on my checklist. It's not something I've been thinking about, but Harper Lee, I think, is a great author. So I would definitely recommend that book too.
Awesome stuff. Well, Mabel, good luck with swimming. Thank you for coming in today, and thanks for playing the 20 questions game. I hope it was smooth. I mean, I think it was good to kind of get comfortable talking on the podcast if it's a first time thing, and it's had some good questions for us to talk about.
Definitely. It was fun. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.